unaanza wimbo sawa. Haya, ndio hiyo. Gani? 1 2 3 start. We shall overcome poverty in Africa. We shall overcome poverty in Africa. We shall overcome, 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 we shall overcome.
In Kenya, when we think of a young person who does not have an education, you think of a cycle that is continuous, a cycle of poverty. Like, you don't think of a future. There's nothing guaranteed. Like, you can't get a job, you can't, even start a business. Like, there's so much you need with education. So for a young person without education, it means that they're gonna get, into things like drugs. They're gonna get early pregnancies if they're girl, early marriages, which always don't end up with it, and even more.
When you consider the impact that one additional year of education has on an individual, their income potential increases by 10% for every additional year. That's tremendous. When you think about the impact that has on one person, and then on a communal level, I mean, it's transformative for an entire country. And that's one of the many reasons why we focus on education. Now, when you consider things like HIV risk, which has such a cyclic relationship with issues of poverty, for every year that a person has access to education, their HIV risk is almost halved, particularly for girls. And that's really because, to stay in school means having a delayed sexual debut. It means not being involved in high-risk activities that are often linked for economic survival, like being involved in the commercial sex industry, or to be engaged in relationships that are more transactional or based on support. So there's a lot of benefit that is tied to investing in education outside of just now the fact that a student is in school and they're learning. They're working towards certificates and qualifications that will make them viable in the workforce.
Education not only lets you know a lot of things or new things. When you get that part, like education itself, it exposes you to the outside world.
You cannot get into any professional job unless you are educated. And one of my sayings that I usually say to my life each and every day is that education is all that I need. Without it in my life, I cannot succeed. That's what keeps me going on and thirsting for more.
We are talking about a child who has lots of potential, a child who is bright, a child who has all the ability and seeks for hope, chipping in and coming in to allow this kid to be in school and to be in a class, something this kid did not think of before.
You see, that just going for a college just for that short time, for only 6 months, you see, you can now sustain yourself. You can get a house rent, you can get food instead of begging because of education. Right now in Kenya, if you don't have any certificate, no one will employ you. That is the big challenge youth are facing.
It's like primary education is free because all you have to pay for is like maybe school uniform, and there's still kids who stay home because they cannot afford, school uniform. But for secondary school, it's not free at all. You have to raise some money to go to school, and for someone to afford school, they have to pay up to an average of like $400 a month, as a year, and in a month, that family is earning like $10, So there's no way that they're going to save this $10 so that they can pay up for education. Even if they tried, it's not possible.
So education is and has always been the entry point for us. For the past 8 years, the Scholarship Fund has been our core program, and we've really focused on tailoring a model that is really effective in seeing our youth graduate and be empowered and confident and driven. I'm proud to say that 80% of the youth that have graduated from our program have career-oriented jobs that they've decided that they were passionate about. Every success that they've attained is them. It's their doing, it's their hard work, it's their drive and their passion, and they need to celebrate and acknowledge that it wasn't a handout that someone offered to them.
It has allowed this kid to be in a class. It has allowed this kid to sit down to prepare for his future or for her future, for her to be able to meet a goal. And this is actually a great impact.
What makes Seeds for Hope different from other organizations is they don't go out there and announce to the whole world that that they're supporting this kid, and if it wasn't for them, then they would have then this kid would never had a future.
Seeds for Hope gives without creating pressure to the student that we are the ones giving you education, and when you're through with this, once you get a job, you have to pay us back.
We don't see them as needy families, needy youth. We're not, doing an active charity. And that is a distinction that I really have seen make all the difference in what the results are for them in the long term.
The one thing that I love about Seeds for Hope is is how they believe family that this kid, if this kid has a future written for him, then this kid will have that future regardless of where they come from. And so Seeds for Hope believes that it's just here as a bridge for that kid to attain the goals that they want to attain.
This is a scholarship fund, and they are scholars. They are not being sponsored, which is the very common language in this kind of work. This is a merit-based scholarship that they have earned, and that is an investment in their future and in their dreams. And investments are made, but to make them realized as a reality is completely on them, and they make it happen.
When I was in class 6, that's the time I started admiring being a doctor. And I said one time, I used to tell my mom, one time I want to be a doctor. And that dream had come to me. I need to be a doctor, that desire of being a doctor. At the time I thought it was possible, and at the time I thought it wasn't possible, because the way our family was and the money it has, the medicine school requires sometimes. It can't be possible for me to do. I want it, but when I look at my family background, I say it is not possible for me, although I had that desire.
I remember when I started going to secondary class, I used to be chased home like after 2 weeks, until the time Nadia came and told me that from today you are not going to be sent home because Seed of Hope have decided to pay your fee.
Today I thank God because I'm in a school where I'm supported, and I thank God because I'm in a place where I can be able even to become a professional one.
And from that day I've been enjoying my studies, because from that day I've not been going home for school fees until my Form 4. I've cleared. I've not yet gone for college because I was yet to decide on what I want to do. But now I've decided I want to do psychological counseling for kids.
The Seed of Hope can start for you from the beginning, but if you have that will of doing something, you can do the rest for yourself. For now, because I'm almost finishing my certificate, I know that I'm going to continue to diploma. If you have that willing of doing something, you just go and look for any possibility that you can go ahead. So if you have that willingness, there's nothing that can stop you from doing what you want.
If you have a desire or a dream for becoming someone, don't let someone come and tell you that it can't work. Even though you had that dream, have it and keep on mind that have that desire of becoming what you want.
So I know that there are people who wonder why I started Seeds for Hope, or even why they should really care about this issue and these young people here in Kenya. And the only way that I can answer that question is really to ask a few questions back, which is to just imagine again that you are 12 or 13 years old. You've just completed the 8th grade, and you know that that will be the last time that you step foot in a classroom at 12 years old. Your life then becomes the day-to-day survival of going out and looking for pennies to bring home to your family. Imagine now being an adult and looking for a job in a workforce where the last level of education that you have is that of an 8th grader. You know, that's the reality for more than 70% of youth in this country. And when I imagine that for myself, when I imagine that for any young person, it is a personal responsibility to do something to change that reality, because it doesn't have to stay that way. That's the reason why I started Seeds for Hope. That's the reason why all of us who volunteer with Seeds for Hope do what we do, because we've seen the change. We've seen the way in which a person can be transformed from a shy, withdrawn, timid young person who doesn't believe that they have access to or even a right to dream, to aspire for something, to now demanding a future and fighting for a dream and that they have then created for themselves, to be doctors, to be teachers, to be actors and musicians and footballers. And those are the rights of a young person. Those are the rights of a child, to dream and to aspire. And that's why we came up with even the phrase "dare to dream," because to want more for your life, to imagine a future committed to doing something with your skills and your talents and your life, is the right of every child and every young person. And that's what we are fighting for, and that's what we are working to restore back to these youth.
All I can say is thank you for what you have done a lot to us and to many people in Africa.
If Seed for Hope can do that great job, I don't have much to say, because whatever they have done to so many youths in Kenya here, no one else can do it.
And for you people, Seed of Hope, you are really you are really like a hope to many who are hopeless.
I desire and I wish to be a software engineer.
I want to serve as an example to my community.
I want to be an administrator.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream and I'm fighting for it.
Everything is possible as long as you believe in it and yourself.
In search of brighter days, I right through the maze of the madness. Struggle is my address where pain and crack lives. Gunshots coming from sounds of blackness. Given this game with no time to practice. Born on the blacklist. Told I'm below average. A life with no cabbage. That's no money if you from where I'm from. Funny, I just want some of your son. Dark clouds seem to follow me. Alcohol that my pop swallowed bottle me. No apology, I walk with a boulder on my shoulder. It's a cold war.